If I could, yeah.
Oh.
I said if I could, yeah.
That would be fire though. You look
I'm
the
a little
same, yo.
look.
Ain't nothing changed. Like ain't nothing changed.
Yeah, but I'm a little older than I look though. You feel
You
me?
look the same. That's crazy. Like, so like
Man,
what actors did you look up to like growing up and stuff like that? You looked up to any
did
actors?
I look up to?
Yeah,
You know
because you know
what? When I got into the game,
yeah.
when I got into acting, I really didn't have a respect for it as
Oh, what?
far as who was good and who was not good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was young, I was a kid, and I saw some TV and I saw some kids pretending to be gangsters on TV. And I thought to myself, oh, if them ain't gangsters, I could go show them what a gangster is if they let me on that television screen. You feel me? Like that was my thought process when I first started. Then I started taking theater and got into the whole thing, started building sets, you know what I mean? And then got into different movies. Because before, you know, growing up, I watched a whole lot of, you know, Five on the Black Hand Side and Uptown Saturday Night and Cotton Comes to Harlem and, you know, a lot of Bill Cosby, Sidney Poitier type shit. I didn't really watch actors like Gary Oldman and you know, just cats who really turned in, Mandy Patinkin, you know, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. I didn't watch them cats who turned in performances. And when I say that, I just mean it like they had the opportunity to be diverse in their role choices.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So they could really transform into whatever they wanted to transform into. What I noticed about a lot of the black actors was they all played the same dude every time they stepped in front of the camera. You feel me? A lot of them didn't have that desire, or the studios weren't writing, you know, that diverse roles for black actors because it was always the tough dude or the jailbird, or
Yeah.
sometimes they got to play the preacher, you know, and every once in a while they'd play the police officer and shit like that. But they never really had to change. You know, I never saw them all because, like, you know, if like you say you from New York, right? So if you from New York, then you know niggas in New York say shit like, nah, son, nah, I mean, and shit
Word,
like
son.
that. That's how they talk.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But then where I'm from in Richmond, California, we didn't say, nah, I mean, we didn't say that.
Y'all be
We
like,
used to say shit like, you don't feel me though. No, we didn't. We didn't say you don't feel me though. We would say you don't hear me though. You don't hear me though, right? Instead of saying you feel me, we would say you don't hear me though. You don't hear me though. That's what we used to say. You don't hear me though. Like, nigga, I ain't turning down nothing but my collar, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. Nigga turned down my collar trying to make $1, right? It's all about that pimp shit. And niggas was way more gully in New York. They was way more street. We was way more trying to be sophisticated and cool and clean and put the gold tooth in the mouth and all that bullshit, right? Because a lot of people from where I'm from came up. I'm in a Zoom meeting right now. Nico, give me 2 seconds, okay?
yeah.
So, you know, and so, but what I never saw was, I never saw him do it. Like Goldie, the dude who played Goldie, Ron O'Neal, he did a movie called Goldie, which was a movie about pimps. And, you know, he had the silky hair and the fifth wheel and all that.
Yeah.
And the Cadillac and all that. You know what I'm saying? And that was cool. But he didn't portray that character like I knew that character. Because that whole pimp game, my Uncle John Lewis was one of the largest pimps in California.
Oh, that's what's up.
When it came down to it. You feel me? That whole fifth wheel hat with the feather and all that, that was at our family barbecues. My uncle used to come home in his Cadillac with his 5 white girls.
What?
Bring them, you feel me? Like,
that's what's up.
He had his prostitutes.
Oh.
Right. So my uncle was a pimp. So I knew that pimp game. And my little uncle, the youngest uncle, he wanted to be a pimp. He couldn't quite put it together like my Uncle John Lewis. My Uncle John Lewis, when he was 32 years old, he got shot in the back 3 times right on MacArthur Boulevard in Oakland.
That's the hood.
Right there on the Hostro. He got killed right there on the Hostro. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's been in my life. You know what I mean? That whole dynamic was in my life. And like when I tell people, they be like, how you play them roles so well? It's because I lived them.
Right.
It ain't nothing I'm making up. You know what I'm saying? I was born and raised in the 60s. So if you need to make a movie about the 60s,
right,
I lived that. 70s, I lived that. 80s, 90s, how you want to do it.
right.
Up until today, I've lived it all. You feel me? Like, and so I don't have a problem, no. And then they never, even Sidney Poitier was a Haitian. Was he Haitian or Dominican?
Wow,
I think he was Haitian.
Look like both. Just thinking about it. Wow.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking though, but they never really let him come with his Haitian accent. You see what I'm saying? They never let him make a movie with that Haitian accent. Namboule, Sakpase. You know, they never let him do that. So no, those whole the black people, like they didn't do that whole diverse thing. Because the gangsters was the gangsters, the pimps was the pimps. New York people was New York people. And you know, and like, but where I'm from, we had Fillmore Slim, who's one of the
Snoop
biggest
looks just like him, right? That's the guy who Snoop looked just like him, right? They
kind of sort of, yeah, kind of sort of. I think who looked more like him was the dude who died, Nipsey.
Yeah.
Nipsey looked more like Fillmore.
Yeah.
I think Nipsey looked more like Fillmore Slim. But anyway, long story short, I just, and then too, like I said, and I grew up around white people. You see what I'm saying? So if I need to put on that voice and I need to talk a little softer and take, a little bit of the bass out of my voice and be like, oh, guy, like, I hung around enough of them to be able to talk like that too. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I can do that. That's not hard. It's simple. But the thing is that, and when you do it, you affect the attitude. You bring whatever tonation has a lot to do with what people hear has more to do with what they believe than what they see. Because people will listen if it sound right, the tone is right, they'll take it in. Sometimes, because like, watch this. I'm gonna give you for instance. You might not remember this because you might be a little young, but when we was kids, the TV used to roll sometime. And it'd roll up and down, like the picture would just roll and another picture would come on and it would roll and you would see these pictures like you could see the break in the film. It would roll like that, right? And then sometime it would go vertical. It would mess up vertically, mess up horizontally. But as long as you could hear it, you didn't really care that much. But if the sound ever went bad, you didn't even want to listen to it. Like, I ain't listen to that shit. It don't sound right. You didn't care too much if the picture kind of got screwed up. As long as you could hear it.
The sound.
But if the sound ever went bad, you weren't interested anymore.
Wow.
So it's more about sound. That's why when they say it's like rap music, if people say rap music don't affect people, they full of shit. And they know they full of shit. Sound is a quality of life. Anyway, I ain't gonna get all off on that shit.
Oh, I mean,
there's only 3 languages in the world.
Yo, you speaking facts right now, my G. You feel me? You for real. People need to know about that because I'm
just saying. Okay, for instance, when you think about it, right? If you look back at music, there was a time when music was toned at 432 hertz. 432 hertz. That's what it was toned at. And back then, you could put on Beethoven or Chopin or something like that. And you had plants in your house. You could put the music on and leave your house. And at that tone, at that hertz, the music would help your plants grow.
What?
Yeah.
Real?
At that tone. Then they started toning it at 440 hertz. Wow. And it's damn near an abomination to the ear, but they got people used to it. And it brings on a certain level of anxiety and angst and anger and stuff like that. So you have to be careful about the rap music you listen to.
What's up, y'all? You already know this your Rockstar Wicked Rich. Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and follow my channel. Want to support my channel? The link and all of the information is in the bio.